Morning, tubes. We're heading back to the barn today. Today we're going to be putting in the front spring hangers that I got from Sky Off-Road. This is going to correct the axle positioning issue that I have, which is just caused by the angle of the springs because of the shackle that we put in, shackle kit. Yeah. Today's gonna be fun. It's 60 degrees right now at 6:30 in the morning, and it's supposed to be over 100 today, and I think almost 110 tomorrow. So what that means is I'm starting early today, and I'm gonna try and get as much done as I can until noon, and then probably float down the river over here and have a couple of beers, who knows. We're gonna take the Fusion off-road here in just a second. I drive the junkyard truck, but I'm having issues with it again. I don't know if it's carburetor or distributor. I think it's distributor because it's doing that weird running thing, that weird like glitchy, can't get over 3,000 RPM issue. And oh, I took down the gate. Yeah, I think the distributor's acting weird, because when it does its weird thing, my tachometer starts jumping all over the place. Morning, ladies and gents. They're like, what? Coming in hot. Oh, there's some big boulders. Some big boulders. Left the barn open a little bit so she can air out. Oh. Never thought my daily driver would have a backup camera. And then the grass is gonna get up against the sensor. The car's gonna be like, what the hell? Alright, tubes. Let me show you our new part here. So this is our new front hanger, and that is going to replace our factory hanger right here. So what's going on is, I'll give you a visualization. So when we put our reverse shackle kit in, what happened was, so it pushes the spring down. Normally the spring would be up at this angle, but when we pushed it down, it's down like this. So now you have this spring is no longer perfectly parallel to the ground. So this one's starting to go into a swing, and as it goes into a swing, it starts to pull the wheel in. So by adding the drop hangers, or the extended hangers up front, what will happen is, and with these they're adjustable too, so it'll drop this end of the spring down, which will cause this to come back, but we have some adjustments to move it back even further if we need to. So even though I lifted this and it made my drive shaft too long to fit, normally when you lift something, it'll pull the drive shaft back and maybe be too short. In this case, because of how the axle swung forward, it's made the drive shaft too short, or too long, excuse me. Now we could shorten it and just, run with that, but what I don't like is the position of the wheel. It looks goofy too far forward. I want it back to where it was before, or a little bit further back, just because I want to try and keep my wheelbase as long as possible with how short this truck is. So anyways, this kit, when we put that in there, it'll drop that spring probably about 4 to 5 inches, It'll drop it, and this should move back. And as you can see on this kit, you have 3 adjustment points. I think this middle one here is kind of like a stock location. And then if this were mounted on the passenger side, we could use this hole, and that should put our axle as far back as possible. We'll see how it looks in the middle hole here with it just dropped down. If it looks good, the drive shaft fits good, and we also need to make sure that we don't have too much of the drive shaft in and too much out of the transfer case. We want our yoke to be in there decent ways, but also have enough room for in and out travel. It's been about 2 hours. Spent most of my time getting the rivets out back here, but they're out now, and we got our new bracket in on this side. I discovered that so the lower bolt holes there, or the lower one, the very bottom one, that uses the factory holes on this truck anyways. The top one is off ever so slightly, so I did have to re-drill that out, and then I drilled new holes for the middle bolts. They didn't provide fasteners for the bottom part. It has the 2 holes, and those holes will have to be re-drilled out on the frame. So I'm gonna do that later because I have to get fasteners for it. So this is drooped all the way down. I had to disconnect my sway bar. Get good clearance around the shock. We're on the last hole here, and that has put my axle pretty much back to the stock position. And then of course as it compresses, it's going to come up this way a little bit, but now we're not in much of a swing anymore. We're actually pretty well a little more parallel to the ground, and you can see, yeah, both these two working together will get you the lift you need. I technically don't need all those leaves in there. I put them in there just for load carrying capacity. So yeah, I'm gonna rip on the other side. That should be a little bit easier. I don't have the parking brake cables and stuff in my way. That's another thing. I think what I'm gonna do is this guy here, I'm gonna relocate to this bracket. What I'll do is I'll drill and tap a hole in this bracket, and then these can just chill here, and then they'll be good to go. Our shackle is just slightly this way, but once we set her on the ground, it'll go back that way, and that'll give us a nice angle, because I want it to be back a little bit so that we're on the softer spring rate. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. I'm curious to see what the ride height's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be even taller. Here's the old hanger. What I did, I just cut slits in the rivets and then kind of chopped them up with the old chisel, and then just got in behind the frame. Look at all the rust jacking that was starting, and this truck's 40 years old. Anyways, I got in there with the chisel, got underneath the truck, pounded and wailed and hammered. Finally got that off. Yeah. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. It's almost noon, and it's getting hot, so I've got to have the fan on. Sorry if it's making wind noises. Anyways, this was an easy side. The driver's side I spent an hour and a half on. I think I was on over here half hour tops. I shaved the rivets, and I come in here and it was just 1, 2, 3, 4 with the hammer, like they just came out. The other side fought me pretty good. But anyways, we're got this all painted up. I think it's dry. It's pretty warm in here, so it dried quick. We'll get our new bracket, put it up in here, bolt her in, get this spring up in there. For now, I'm gonna remove my sway bar, just because I don't have the right lengths. I want to make new links for this, a little bit longer, so to let this droop. And I want to put a heim joint on this end. Well, heim joint both ends, so I'll make a whole new link for this. Or light. I painted this backside too, so shouldn't get a whole lot of rusties. Let's get a bolt in there to hang it. I tell you what, this cordless stuff that I got, the Waltz and the Harbor Freight impacts and angle grinders, man, lifesavers, absolute lifesavers. Especially when you're in a spot where electricity is limited. Very nice. I think it's probably every bit of 90 degrees in this barn already, and it's barely noon. Oh yeah! All right, guys. Got the wheels on. Drive shaft fits. It's a little bit further out than I would like it, but you know, this is significantly lifted. It's gonna get a new drive shaft anyways, because we're gonna run a Bronco transfer case with a double cardan U-joints. So yeah. Myself into. So I started at 7 o'clock. It is now 12 o'clock. This was much easier than doing the shackles. I've got to come in and tighten these bolts here. They're just loose right now. I got to undo the sway bar because yeah, it's not gonna, she not gonna fit no more. Yeah, look at this. Shackle angle's good. We're kind of neutral, which is fine. So it'll get softer as it compresses. That's fine with me. Well, at least for now. Yeah, we gotta lift the front. This is nice. I kind of like this. It looks good. Yeah. I'm gonna tighten up those bolts. I'm gonna rip off the sway bar here, and then take her for a little rip. It's hot in here. Yeah, see now the wheel is centered with the wheel well. Much, much better. Angle is almost close. It'll do for now. Like I said, I'm going to put a Bronco transfer case that has a fixed yoke at the back, and then we're going to get a new drive, have a new drive shaft made, and it'll get a slip yoke in the shaft, and then it'll have a double cardan U-joint, and then we'll have to put a shim in this axle to tilt it down. Actually, no, tilt it up, and that'll actually bring our drive shaft in line with the spring, so won't be as close to the ground as it has been. This is so cool. Huh, I wonder how it's gonna ride. I know the front's all goofy because the way I got the shocks and the springs. The rear's gonna ride pretty good. Man, she's up there. You can see the fender well gap. Let's do real rough. Yeah, foot. And then we've got, yeah, 5 inches, 5.5. So yeah, this has got I think a 10-inch lift. It's all suspension now, no blocks. Now my friend Todd was wondering, wouldn't it just be easier to put 6-inch lift Deaver springs? And it would. However, the reason why I went the route that I'm going is because this was originally a 2-wheel drive truck, so I had 2-wheel drive hangers. So I'm gonna have to spend the same that I spent for this whole kit. I think I'm into the kit for about 500 bucks. And when I priced it out, it was about $400 to $500 for new factory 4-wheel drive spring hangers. I like this a lot better because I can put different shackles in there for different lift and whatnot. So it's a little bit more customizable. And plus spring has got a nice, almost flat arc to it. Our shackle is a little bit rearward facing. So I think everything's pretty kosher here. I think I'm gonna clean up, get all the loose stuff put away so it doesn't fall out. And then we'll go take this freaking high heel for a little drive. I'm kind of glad I'm at this point now because it's hot. I'm hot. And that's why I don't have my shirt on. I just can't, it's too hot. And I look like I'm crying, but I'm not. It's sweat.